talking about machines, right? A lot of machines in the Dubai gyms.
I need to do certain things with my legs, make them look less lengthy.
Ironically now, 212 guys, both Mr. Olympia.
I should have won that show too.
Dorian Yates was training with you, right? I know for a few months, I think, right? Was it a few months?
Yeah, it was just on and off because he was traveling a lot and then I got injured. But yeah.
So obviously he's a legend, right? No question about it. But did bodybuilding advance since his days? Meaning that, like, I'm sure you know about bodybuilding very well. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was competing in the 80s, 90s, right? Like, is it still like current when it comes to bodybuilding, or was his style like? Did you feel like it was the old school style? Was it working for you?
Yeah, no, it's definitely old school. There was definitely times that we would have discussions where with someone like him, the way I kind of talk to all of them, even like Premier, people that didn't necessarily win the Olympia, but they still have insane knowledge and insane experience that you have to kind of talk to them a little bit differently when you want to express your opinion. So I try to talk to Dorian a little bit about how much the sport has changed. And Dorian's also like my dad, who doesn't follow the sport. But he could care less who the Mr. Olympia is. And if you're really not even focusing on the sport, and you're not going to notice maybe certain body parts are highly looked at when maybe they weren't in your age, in your era. So glutes is like a crazy muscle now in bodybuilding that can make or break someone. And they barely even flex their glutes. Like, obviously, he was just so shredded that he looked good no matter what. But explaining to him that I do need to train glutes. I do need to do lunges. I need to do adductors. It's not something that he believes in. So if I was him, why would I think I'm wrong? Look what I look like without doing these exercises that you're telling me that you need to do. But we are also different body types. Dorian wasn't very short, but I am a little bit taller. So I need to do certain things with my legs, make them look less lengthy. What I just wanted to do when I was there, which I do with everyone, is I'm going to do exactly what they say. I never want to question anyone. And I also, for myself, I want to see too. Like, look, just because you won Mr. Olympia doesn't mean I can train with Chris Dickerson and I bet you I'm not going to get better. Just mean because you have a Sandow that you somehow have the secret.
It was completely different eras. It was completely different time. I mean,
well, you can also figure out the secret for yourself. Doesn't mean that you figure out the secret for everybody else. So there was a lot of things that I was not doing that he either reminded me of and I need to go back to doing. Because look, the downside of Dubai is the gym were so crazy with machines. I didn't even do bent over barbell row in like a year. I don't think I did a dumbbell row. You just have all these state-of-the-art machines and you forget about the fundamentals. So that was really good that I went back to doing those. And there's a lot of things on form that I wasn't doing ever. There's one thing that I'm doing on my back that I'm going to do for the rest of my career. And if I had been doing that from the beginning, I definitely would have a better back. So I learned a lot from him. But like I've said in every interview, the things that I learned the most from Dorian have nothing to do with bodybuilding. It's just being a man, a person, dealing with things in your life. And if you look at him or listen to him, he's the happiest he's ever been. And I think maybe living with my dad, who was the most unhappy after he was done, always missing the sport, missing the respect that he used to get. I mean, he used to be a god. And now he's like getting yelled at by his boss, figuring out bills. And now spending time with Dorian, he's thriving. I mean, obviously he's thriving financially too, because he's got his businesses lined up. But him as a person and how he looks at life, it really helped me a lot. And that's also something else too, that I don't think that I could ever deal with something that he taught me can't fix. Just how he looks at things and how he breaks things down. So I'm really grateful for, it sounds so insane because people pay lots of money to train with him. I'm more grateful for the lunches we had after our training session than anything that we did in the gym.
You talk about machines, right? A lot of machines in the Dubai gyms. Can you actually be a full-time bodybuilder and get ready for shows and win shows just on machines, you think, or no? You need free weights? It's a big conversation right now. Even Arnold was talking about that in one of his posts recently.
Yeah, well, all the old guys That's what they all say. And even if I also use that stim machine too, sometimes like the newbie or the noobs. And that's the first thing people want to tell me is that my dad didn't eat this machine. Like saying comments like that is like so insane because that's like saying like what? So stuff in the medical department, we should still just fix smallpox with like whatever shots that they had. Like it's so stupid. It's so ignorant. But what you're saying is if you do all without any
Just machines, no free weights at all. Is that possible?
look, if I had not had that accident, I would have came and did the cow and I would have destroyed it and I would have looked the best I ever had on stage. And then nobody would be asking because then that would be the proof right there. But unfortunately, it happened. And when I came, because that's all it comes down. What it comes down to is what you look like on stage. It doesn't matter. So I know that I was looking the best I ever have. But when I did bent over barbell row with Dorian and I'm struggling with 2 plates, no matter what, that's a muscle that I'm not using. Like obviously you have to use a lot of core and assisting muscles, use free weights, but I think it's possible. Absolutely.
Nice. You mentioned Shaun Clarida, right? You mentioned that took a toll on you, losing to Shaun Clarida 2021. It was you, Regan, and him in the final three. Shaun Clarida ended up winning. And I guess everybody was like, well, what, Sergio, what happened? You know what I mean? Because Shaun Clarida is a 212 guy. Now, ironically, now 212 guys, both Mr. Olympia 2 years in a row. So technically, 212 guys beat everybody, right? But at that time, they didn't. At that time, just Shaun Clarida jumped into the open division. And I saw an interview where you kind of explained what happened. You were going through an injury, right? But was that like a point for you where you were really angry afterwards?
No, because I'm not angry at all.
Not at Shaun, but just in general.
No, I wouldn't say angry. I would just say really disappointed because look, going into that Arnold where Nick won, I should have won that show too. But I started having small man syndrome and I started to try and carb up with like the wrong foods and I ended up spilling out. That's when I learned when I won my pro card and I won New York Pro, I pumped up on muffins. And as you get older and as your body changes, you can't use certain foods anymore. So at that Arnold, I learned a valuable lesson. I cannot use those foods, but I still should have won that show. So now I'm like, you know what? Let me just go into Legion. I can win this show. I know I can beat Regan, and I know I can beat someone who weighs 100 pounds less than me. And then I don't again. It's just more of like what the fuck, you know? Losing to people that are good, like losing to people that you can't beat is different. Like I said, when I lost that first Arnold, how can I go home mad that I lost to Rami, Bonock, and Dexter? You cannot get upset at that. But I could have beat Shaun. But but look, doing that show at Legion, man, I was blown away by Shaun. Shaun was doing a lot of things that I've talked about in interviews that I've never seen anyone do before. I never saw anyone not pump up before. He literally had his sweats on, took them off, they oiled him up, he got on stairs and he walked out. I've never seen that before. So crazy. And I never seen, and he wasn't even doing this on purpose. It's almost like one of those Arnold mind tricks that they used to do back in the day, but he wasn't just who he is. You know, they have us on the first call out and they do second call out and they send us to the back. That's usually the time when you're like tired, maybe drying your sweat, drinking some water. And Shaun's just doing the poses with the second call out. He's doing lat spread. He's just doing them with them, just ready to go. And me and Regan are like out of breath because they just killed us. And it was just very impressive to watch someone. So yes, he may weigh 100 pounds less than me, but Shaun taught me that he is a bodybuilder on a way different level. Obviously, your cardiovascular system is a lot different when you don't weigh 290 pounds. But it was very cool. It was very impressive. So I learned a lot from that. I learned that my posing is out of shape. I need to get on my mandatories. I think my conditioning is not good. I mean, not even just physically, but just like how I like breathing. So I wasn't mad. If anything, I was like, man, like this guy was a lot better than I thought he was. Because look, we don't pay attention to the 212. You're in the open, like you see him win.
Of course.
I'm not like really watching the call out. So it was really the first time I ever got to see him perform. The only thing that I didn't understand is people are like, oh, you suck, you lost to Shaun. So is he not good? Is he not Mr. Olympia? Like I'm so confused. But what it is no, they finally have something that they can attack me on, and they're just going to. But yeah, Shaun's a friend of mine. I think that he's an amazing bodybuilder, and losing to him only made me better.